I am Paul Brodie, and thank you for joining us for another episode of the Get Published podcast, where we help authors get published with a proven system that works. Today, we're being joined by Hassahn Liggins, author of Souls for Sale. Hassahn, welcome to the show.
Thanks, Paul, for having me. Definitely appreciate it. Look forward to it.
You ready to get started?
Let's go.
All right. What is the one piece of advice that you would give to a first-time author who is currently writing their book?
I would say my best advice that I would give, honestly, is in the beginning, whatever you're writing about, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, don't limit your creativity based on what you think has to fit into certain parameters. Like, don't go into, at least my vision, don't go into it like, thinking like, they may not like this or a publisher might not like that. Be creative, innovative as possible, and then scale back once you get into like your maybe second and third drafts. But in the beginning, just go all out and don't hold back. That would be my greatest advice, because I believe you come up with the best piece of work in that fashion.
Excellent answer. Now, what do you feel is the hardest part about getting published?
I would say the hardest part is actually getting published, but no, actually the hardest part is the hardest part is getting, especially if you're a first-time writer, getting someone to believe in a vision that you have. That is the hardest part, just getting somebody to believe in your work, because publishers now, nowadays publishers are looking for certain criteria, certain things. They're looking for something that's proven already. And sometimes if you don't have those legs under you, it's hard to get attention, or it's hard to grab someone grab someone's attention so that they're taking you seriously. So I would just say, but with that, I say, just to kind of go back to the first question, but don't give up. If your goal is to get published by someone else, don't give up, but make connections in other ways. Don't just don't just mail your stuff out there. Actually try to, talk to people on LinkedIn, get in writing forums, because I found out a lot of publishers hang out in these writing forums, or they're looking to see what people are talking about. So that would just be my angle. So the hardest part is literally just getting the attention of somebody to take your work seriously, especially if you're a new writer.
Okay. And please share a marketing strategy that you have used in your book launch that worked well.
The best one I can say is this. We did direct to consumer, meaning we researched a bunch of book clubs, and we gave away our book to a bunch of different people, the leaders of the book clubs. We got them discussing the book. Hey, I read this would be great. Then guess what? Those people in the book club started to purchase our book, whether the physical copy or the online copy. And then it built from there, because most people I found that are in one book club, they might be in two. And then they started to share their experiences across the board. And then the other one that we did was we felt our book would be really good for schools. So instead of going through the Board of Education here in Chicago, what we did was we went straight to the teachers and gave them the book and tried to convince them to say, hey, we might need this as part of our curriculum. And that's been working very well for us.
Both of those strategies are amazing. I love them both. And what I want to ask you is, can you tell me what was the process in finding the book clubs, and then you're reaching out from that point, your outreach? So how did you do that exactly?
Oh, great question. So what we did was, we researched the book clubs. If we live in a social media world now. So we literally looked on Facebook groups. We looked for, people with like certain hashtags on like Instagram to see and we just put the hashtag like book club, or type in book club in the search field on Facebook. We found all of those ways. We also went to a few like forums for writers and things, or people that talked about books all the time. We went on there and found book clubs. Once we did that, we did the research to find out who was the leader of that book club, and then we sent out whether we got a phone number or an email. Either we called or we emailed, or both in some cases, say, hey, we just want to give you a book for free. But the only thing we asked is, can you read it and possibly consider it for your book club? And many of them got back to us, and therefore we started to actually sell books based off of that was our initial launch. We started to sell books via these book clubs. That was our first step. So that's exactly what we did. We literally just did some old school grassroots research and marketing in that way.
And you reach out to book clubs all across the United States?
Everywhere. Yep. Everywhere from Los Angeles to New York, Chicago, everywhere. Anywhere we can find it. That's the beauty of social media. You can find people anywhere.
And then in regards to reaching out to teachers, what was your process with that?
That was actually pretty easy because if one we actually knew a few teachers already. So we went to the people we know first. That's one other piece of advice I can give to any author. Start with the people you know right in your circle. It doesn't have to be some grand scholar somewhere, some great publisher somewhere. Go to the people who you know right in your circle. And we really do believe in 6 degrees of separation. And in our case, sometimes it was 2 or 3 degrees of separation. The teachers we knew already got us to the teachers we needed to know, and then those teachers got us to the principals we needed to know, and then those principals got us to the right process to actually fill out like what they call like a vendor application and everything, so these schools could begin to purchase our book from us. And that's the steps we took right there, directly to people we knew first, that in turn got us to the next person, to the next person, to the next person.
Excellent. That's totally a six degrees of Kevin Bacon type of marketing there.
Yes, absolutely.
I like that. Thank you for sharing that, because we had our previous episode, we were talking about using Indiegogo campaigns, and I asked our guests for further elaboration on that. So thank you for sharing that, because I love these different innovative ways to get your books out there. And you're the first one that's really talked about utilizing book clubs and your reach out and how you did it with hashtags and Facebook and Instagram. So I really appreciate you sharing that with us.
Oh, my pleasure. Yes. I mean, it's so many different ways. That was just our approach.
Let's talk about your favorite book. So what is your favorite book, and what was the number one thing that you learned from it?
Oh, that's easy. My favorite book was The Alchemist by Paulo Coelho, and that book literally changed my life. The greatest thing I got out of it is going after your personal treasure, realizing what your personal treasure is in life, and figuring out a way to go after that, and respecting the journey of going after that. Don't always look for the goal. Appreciate the goal is important, but appreciate the journey along the way to the goal, which is what I learned from that book. And it literally changed my life, and it set me in motion to do things that I'm doing today, like actually being an author.
And what is your favorite quote and why?
Favorite quote: "Don't wait on a miracle, be the miracle." That's actually a personal quote of mine, because I believe oftentimes in society we're waiting for something to happen. Like, we're literally looking like, okay, I really need something to happen. No matter what you believe in, whether you believe in a higher power or not, most people tend to wait on things to happen. I'm a person that believes like we are walking, talking miracles. Utilize what you have and make it happen. Just figure out a way to make it happen.
Excellent. Well, thank you for being a guest on our show. What is the best way for people to find you online?
The best way to people to find me online is actually if they wanted to go to, let's get the book website, soulsforsalebook.com. That is the best way to get in contact with me, soulsforsalebook.com.
Excellent. Well, thank you again for being a guest on our show, and I wish you all the best in your author journey ahead.
Thank you so much, Paul, and I wish you the same, sir. And you have a great rest of your day. And to all the authors out there, be amazing and continue doing what you're doing.
Thanks again for joining us today. To learn more about how to get your book published with a proven system that works, grab a free copy of my book at getpublishedpodcast.com.